Well, the story this week looks like it's going to be a high potential for flooding over the central U.S. I'll be talking about that in today's briefing. I'm John Felt, and this is the Blue Water Outlook weekly weather briefing, the very last day of meteorological winter. Okay, so the threat this week is going to be some severe storms as well as heavy rain right smack over the central part of the U.S., some snow as well in the upper Midwest, some narrow bands of heavy snow. Now last week, the big story was the nor'easter, and we had hurricane force winds, some very heavy snow in that area, over 2 feet of snow with extremely high winds. The western U.S., the west coast, also had some very heavy rain and snow at higher elevations. Everything in between last week was pretty quiet. Now this time of year, I'm often really focused on the snow on the ground and what that's going to do. Well, this year, all the snow is pretty much gone. There hasn't been much, and it's hugging the upper Midwest. Now we're going to add a little bit of snow this week, but not much. And it looks like the threat is going to be for spring snowmelt flooding. It's just the 4 Great Lakes localized region, but really nothing elsewhere. The risk is going to be heavy rain flooding, it looks like. Now there are some signs of spring right now. Hummingbirds are starting to migrate to the north. We're getting some dew points a little bit higher that are beginning to pool. Now last week temperatures, what a temperature range here. We had well below normal temperatures, North Dakota, Minnesota, Iowa, and we had record-setting warmth over the west. And you can even see that right now. Look at the temperatures here. We're looking at morning lows below zero in the upper Midwest. So take a look at the temperature range. The warmest temperatures last week made it down here into the 90s in South Texas here. And we got below zero in the upper Midwest and other areas, the Northeast. Okay, so the big weather story this week, I think, is going to be flooding, and this gives you the general area from the Ozarks into the Ohio River Valley. And what we have here is we have a southwest jet stream coming in like this, and then these packets of energy are going to shoot out. Here's one, another one's over here, and each one of these will give another round of heavy rain as they eject from the southwest to the northeast. So let's talk about temperature here, and you can see for the next couple, maybe the next 10-day period here, we have above normal temperatures and record setting in some spots. Moving into the northeast, we're going to have a lot of snow melt. All that snow on the ground is going to melt as this warm air pushes into the region. And then maybe as we get into the March 10th through 15th, we have some cooler air spilling to the south. But look at the gradient here. Very warm, much colder. So we're still going to have a boundary here, and that means this risk of heavy rain is going to be around for a while. Matter of fact, we look at temperatures. We're going to have record-setting temperatures this weekend in a number of areas in the western and southern U.S. But like I said, the big story is going to be this heavy precipitation here. And what we have is we have 1 to 3 inches of rain, locally 4 inches or more, from the Ozarks across Missouri into Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and very heavy rain. And I put the drought monitor here, outlined it, and much of this area is in a drought. So, sometimes we're just replenishing soil moisture. This is going to be a sort of a, initially maybe the first couple inches of rain replenishing soil moisture, but it's going to be enough that is going to also cause enough runoff into rivers to cause a problem. Now here's our setup. We have a boundary. That boundary is right here where we're having northerly winds converging into it, and we're going to have southerly winds bringing the moisture from the Gulf of Mexico into it. So we have that convergence of moisture, and that's where we're going to have lift and the heaviest precipitation. Now we do have an outlook for high outlook for heavy precipitation. That's pretty rare, and look how big it is. It's a very widespread high risk, and the moderate risk is even pretty widespread as well. Here's your moderate risk right here. Oop. And that's significant. You don't see that too often, that high risk. That's pretty rare. So keep in mind that we do expect excessive rain, runoff, tributaries rising, and main stem river flooding potential. Now, as far as snow goes, a couple bands of snow. The most significant is going to be up in this region right here, a very narrow clipper type system, some lighter snow to the south. Now let's look further out. Here's week 2. Not much below normal in here, so that I showed you before where we had this here. Well, that looks like that is going to be maybe short-lived, because overall it looks like moderate temperatures, mild temperatures in the east. Look at all this snow that's going to melt. That snow is going to all melt pretty quick in the New York City area. And look at our 6 to 10 and 8 to 14. The band of rain is going to shift a little bit to the east, but it's going to be active right in this area here in the week 2 period, and maybe even the week 3 or 4. So I think the Illinois River, the Ohio River, the Middle Mississippi River, parts of the lower Missouri River are going to see pretty significant rises. As a matter of fact, I was riding my bike just yesterday right along the Missouri River here, and it's pretty low, so it's going to take a way to come up and rise. So I don't necessarily expect flooding, but it's going to bring some significant rises. So that's this weekly weather briefing. Hope that helps you in your planning, and I hope you have a great week. Take care.